Hello and welcome back to the ministry. And today's word is not one that I'm too happy to have to give. This is actually a word of warning. Okay, I need you to tune your ears in and pay close attention to what I'm about to say, because if you do not, you're gonna miss it and you're gonna end up in a series of warfare that you don't gotta be in. Okay, pay close attention. Now, previously, I have told you before that there are about 11 areas you need to keep an eye on, okay? Eyes, nose, mouth, hands, ears. Next to that, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, socially, and financially, okay? There is a level of refinement that the Lord will put you through. This is true. This has happened. Hear me clearly. This is true and it has already happened. We are in a season that we are seeing God's just judgment, okay? Which means we've done all of the work. We have fought, we have cried, we have laid on the floor prostrate, we've gotten on our knees, we fasted, we did everything that we were supposed to do, okay? That level of warfare is ending. For the past week and a half, the Lord has been saying, rest, 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 rest. I remember it was about 2 weeks ago in the spirit. I was in a dream and I saw the heads of a woman and a crocodile decapitated. I went and I looked it up, and it says that deception and everything associated with the word of deception has been killed off. As well, the woman was a figure of witchcraft, decapitated. Leviathan, taken out. Okay? We are supposed to be resting from all the warfare from our previous season, okay? Resting. We're not supposed to be engaging in new warfare. What the enemy is doing right now is he's trying to create situations that is going to cause you to uprise into jumping back into that same warfare that you just came out of. It's an illusion, okay? Because if he can keep you fighting, one, if you're fighting, you are continuing to lose energy in a season you're supposed to be resting. And two, you're not going to be ready to do what it is that you need to do in your next coming season, because you spent the season that you were supposed to be resting, warring in pointless battles in the spirit, because the enemy is trying to do trickery. Okay? I need you, follow me closely. I want you to write down everything that the enemy has been trying to steal from you. Is it money? Is it family connections? Is it the development of your own family, meaning kingdom marriage, children, all of these types of things? Is it coming against your finances? Is it coming against your business? Is it trying to keep you in poverty? Is it trying to prevent you from gaining access to things that would assist you, resources, so on and so forth? Write down all of those things in which you have noticed. Then I want you to line them up against those 11 things I just said. Eyes, nose, mouth, hands, ears, mental, emotional, physical, spiritual, social. Okay? And I want you to write it down. then I want you to go find scriptures to come against what you have seen happening in those 11 areas. Okay? Because I'm about to go deep into something else. Okay? There is warfare happening because right now, the biggest edict that I'm seeing move around is kingdom marriage. So what's happening is your relationships are coming into a weird state of confusion. I need you to understand we are coming to the end of September and entering into October. Okay? October is a month that you will see the most amount of spiritual confusion. Why? Because the enemy is preparing to go to war in the spirit realm, because that's the most spiritual energy time frame that you're going to see that is given to the enemy. What did it say in Job? The Lord was on his throne, and Satan came there and said, I've been roaming the earth looking for whom in which I can devour. Then the Lord said, why don't you try my servant Job? Now, am I saying that the Lord is going to allow you to be tested? I'm not saying that you're being tested. I'm saying that what the enemy is doing is getting you into a level of illusion. Some of it you need to get clarity on. If God is testing you, you kind of understand when he's testing you, because in most cases, if the Lord is testing you, he'll give you some type of wisdom ahead of time that you can pass the test with. When you take a test naturally, you're given notes, you're given things that will allot you the ability to prepare you for the test, right? But when the enemy is just throwing things at you, it's in order to confuse, remember what I said about the alligator roll and the fact of being jumped into a group of people that they're just spinning you around, spinning you around, spinning you around in confusion. This is why you need to pay attention to these areas, because these are the areas that the enemy is going to probably try something in this coming month, okay? I don't like releasing words like this. Matter of fact, this is the first one I've had to release that was specifically about this kind of thing. But this is a warning to you. Pay attention. Why? I'm about to tell you something that just happened to me as a warning for my ladies that are in preparation for kingdom marriage, okay? What the enemy has been doing, and he's been doing it from around the beginning of September, late August, because I noticed the first word that was released was by Diani Neves. She said, do not fall for the trick. The next word she released, wisdom of the enemy's tactic. And right now, what the enemy is doing is trying to bombard you with doubt over your God-ordained spouse. If anybody that is listening to me, the Lord has already shown you who your God-ordained spouse. You need to hold on to that for dear life, okay? Because the enemy right now is playing a game and he's serious about it, okay? And because he knows that in the coming month, he has free reign to act foolish, he's acting a fool right about now, okay? So you're starting to see confusion come into your dreams. You're starting to see things that don't seem to add up. It's like, Lord, I know you told me this. Why am I seeing this? I'm about to explain something. I do not explain my dreams ever on this platform. I may pinpoint certain things, but I'm going to explain something that I just saw. And I'm going to explain a couple other dreams that I've had previously to let you know Okay? The way that the enemy moving out here right now. Okay? So pay close attention. Right now, you need to pay attention if you are waiting for your kingdom spouse. A classic tactic just before your God ordained spouse comes is the enemy will try to send in a series of counterfeits in order to bombard you. Oh, go on a date. Oh, when you're out on the street, men will start just coming to you randomly all over the place. Men just giving you compliments. Men just because what the enemy is doing is trying to entertain you and get you intertwined into conversations with people that are not your God ordained spouse. There are a lot of people right now, they're like, oh, it's okay to have conversations. Be sure that the Lord said that you can do that. Be sure the Lord said you can be having conversations. Take that into prayer. Before you go out, let the Lord know. This is a prayer that I used to always pray before I walked out the door. If I'm supposed to come across certain people in my day, please leave the right ordained people to cross my path while I am out. If they are not supposed to cross my path, do not allow them to come near me. Because what the enemy will do is he will send people, or the people will start making comments, or they'll start What is that? It's messing with your eye gates. It's messing with your ear gates. Okay? Because you see the guy and you're like, oh, he looks nice. And then he starts talking. And that's supposed to start confusion. Okay? No. Now, before I said something in relation to smell. That can actually be key too. Think about it like this. It doesn't even have to be in relation to relationships, but think about smells from your childhood. Think about things that made you feel comfortable. Smells specifically, whether it was food, perfume, cologne, all these kinds of things. What the enemy will do is he will try to bring about this level of it's not a fugate, it's what did prophetess say a while back? She said about 2 years ago, melancholy. It's a level of melancholy where you're kind of being taken back by thoughts, images, things from your past. If you start to notice, especially now, it's the fall season, that you're starting to have that desire to think back. Your brain starts going back to better times. I found myself this is something that's been happening to me. Thoughts of your past, thinking about people that have passed away, reminders, reminiscences coming against your mind to get you to go backwards. Do not go backwards. Do not get lost in your past. God's about to bring you a new thing. And if you get lost in your past, that can actually delay you. That's a spirit of delay. With that being said, be careful of your dreams if you're dreaming of past locations. Okay? And be also careful if you notice the dream has been manipulated. What do you mean the dream's been manipulated? You see some place that the frame, meaning the outline of the location, looks exactly like a place that you were before, but it was like the decor was changed. Like it was something that was done to the atmosphere to make it look like it was new. But you can tell that the framework, oh, this looks a lot like where I used to live when I was a kid. Oh, this looks a lot like where I used to stay when I was with that person. Oh, this looks a lot like, but it doesn't exactly. That's the enemy trying to bring a familiarity to you. Don't fall for it. Rebuke that as soon as you wake up, because what it is the enemy is trying to seed some things so that if he shows you something in reality, you'll kind of be like, that looks familiar. And you'll have a deja vu, but it's to lure you into a trap. Okay? No, no, no. No, 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 no. No. Mind. Mental. Next, mouth. This can be two things. In dreams, you can notice that pray over your dreams. I try to do this every night. And this is how I know warfare is happening, because I prayed over myself before I went to sleep last night and something still crept in. And I think it was because I woke up and went back to sleep. But what happened is you have to pray about eating anything in your dreams. Have spiritual discernment in your dreams. You need to pray for that, because right now the enemy ain't playing it. Any way he can get in, he's trying to try to get in. You can kick him out in every other area. If you forget one of these areas, he's coming in. Okay? Pay close attention. If you're eating, now, what the Lord will do, in some cases, he will show you something in relation to food, but you don't got to eat it. Where it'll be, maybe he's showing you that your diet needs to change or something like this. But be careful about ingesting food in your dreams. If you don't know and you have ingested something in your dreams, whether someone brought you food. Now, if you are preparing it, I'm not sure if that's an issue or not. But be careful of eating something from someone else in your dreams. If your hands weren't in it, or you don't know where it came from, be very careful. If you don't know either way, when you wake up, listen to me carefully. The first thing you do is you pray, Lord, I ate something in my dream. I do not know if you wanted that to happen and if that was from you, or if the enemy is trying to get me to come into a covenant with something he's doing. So what you need to say is, if it is not from you, Lord, I renounce, denounce, come out of alignment, come out of agreement, uproot what was tried to be planted. I spiritually come out of alignment with it. I spiritually, release it from myself. Whichever way that the Lord spiritually desires for you to release it. Sometimes what will happen if you do that and you're partially asleep, and let's say you wake up and you rebuke it and you go back into the dream, you will actually find that you will go into the bathroom and release it one way or another. This happened to me once in a dream, and I saw somebody gave me food. And the person that gave it to me was a person that looked like a relative of mine. I ate it, but when I woke up momentarily, I prayed what I just told you to pray. And when I went back into the dream, I went into the bathroom and released it through my bowels. And simultaneously in me releasing it, whoever it was that was trying to get me to eat it fell down the steps and then they regurgitated something, because whatever it was that they did didn't work. It's serious out here in these spiritual streets right now, okay? If you think I'm out here just being, it's not. It's not. Anytime I come on here and I'm just in my regular, this was not a, let me go get my hair all right. Let me go. No, this is a warning. I have no need to do all that. Right now, I need you to understand what I'm saying and understand me clearly, okay? All right? Now, when it comes to the mouth, let's see. We went through eyes, ears, nose, mouth, hands. Be careful of the things that you put your hands to in these dreams. Touching idols, touching things, coming into agreement with, keeping items, allowing items or anything to touch your skin. Be careful of that. Be careful that if the item does not seem like it is something in the spirit realm that looks correct, like it's a totem or something, be careful of that. Research, do all of that. But be careful of the things that you're putting your hands to in your dreams, okay? Next, mental. I already talked a little bit about the mental and emotional. Anything that triggers your emotions, whether it's past emotions, present emotions, makes you get angry, bitter, causes you to go into frustrations. We're supposed to get angry, but sin not. Anything that's triggering you emotionally, dream realm, and even in the natural, be cautious of it in both. Be cautious of it, pray, because the enemy is trying to also come in that way as well. Through memories, through pressure, through stress, through seeds of doubt, through all of these areas. Be cautious. Physically, if you're eating something in the physical, okay, be aware physically that what the enemy will do is he'll try to in a way make you ill. Because if you came into agreement with something in your dream and you ate something, that agreement, what it can do is, one, it opens you up to spiritual confusion because you came into alignment with a covenant that you did not realize that you were coming into alignment with. Then it allows that spiritual covenant to gain access to you. And if you are aligned with your ordained spouse in the spirit, it allows that same covenant to access him. If you're he, her, okay? But in reality, if you eat something, maybe you are given a spiritual warning. The thing that you ate in the dream, which was a spiritual warning, if you, let's say you wake up and you're like, man, I'm craving some XYZ. And then all of a sudden, somebody you don't know, or maybe even somebody you do know, brings something to you that you do not know where it came from, where they got it from. And it's the same thing that you dreamt that you ate. Be very cautious, because I know a young woman, Megan Michelle, she suffers from this happening to her. If she forgets to break it in the spirit and she eats in the natural, she'd be sick for a week. And I'm talking about she gets vomiting sick for an entire week. What I'll have happen to me is something will happen in the spirit realm and I'll get very heavy headaches, where it'll be like I got a headache, but it feels like somebody sat a bunch of textbooks on top of my head, and I feel like I'm in this weird hypnotically whatever situation is happening in my head. Mental warfare. And I've had that happen to me. It happened for an entire week. So you got to be careful about what you're ingesting, what you're doing. I have a bad ankle, and sometimes I'll have pain that'll shoot through that foot all of a sudden. Ain't nothing happened to it, ain't nothing wrong with it. I injured my hand recently, and I've been getting intense pain in the joints that I hit. About 5 years ago, I had a major fall, and this whole rib cage, all this upper shoulder, all this hurt. injured. So you got to be careful of your injuries. Pray over yourself. Pray over past injuries, all of that. Pray. Do not come in, if you notice something coming against you where old injuries are flaring up, pray against that. Because the enemy's also bringing that in order to get you to come into agreement. What you do not come into agreement with your mouth, which is also word curses. If somebody speaks a word curse over you, and if you speak one out your own mouth, I've told you this before. Sometimes we say things, oh my God, you're killing me. Rebuke that. I cancel it by the fire of the blood of Jesus Christ. You are not killing me. Think of the little phrases that you say. Curse them at the root. Think about when you're exhausted and you're sitting there waiting for this promise and you're like, God, I'm tired. God, I'm this, that, da, 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 da. God does not like complaining and murmuring. There's a scripture in Revelations 3:8 where it says, God knows that you are tired. You're supposed to put it into his hands at that point. Relinquish it and give it to God when you are tired. Don't speak death to it. Don't speak confusion to it. I know this is a lot of stuff, but we got to be aware. And I'm going to try to finish this off and cap this off with these last few points in relation to kingdom marriage, okay? What happened to me last night was I had a dream that I was someplace and my ex was there. And I said, I literally heard myself say out of my mouth, it's not worth it. I will wait for my God-ordained spouse. The next series of images I saw was me looking at myself, stripped down naked, wrapped in a sheet, and I'm literally speaking rebellion out of my mouth, saying that I'm sexually horny or something like that. And I'm like, didn't I just say out my mouth? I saw myself say it in the dream. That I would wait until my God-ordained spouse came. Why was I in that position? Because the enemy is twisting your dreams right now. Then the next scene, I was fully dressed in a thick sweater and all of this stuff. But me, I was in the bed with my ex. We were both clothed. But it was like we were dry humping each other. And I'm like, what the hell is this? What is this? This is the stupidity that the enemy is throwing in your dreams right now. Because I not rebuke it at the very beginning of the dream? I said, I will wait until my God-ordained spouse comes. I don't want nothing to do with my ex. Okay? I'm going to tell you something that happened about 4 or 5 years ago. I've broken spiritual soul ties. This is why this is happening, because the enemy is trying to bring back. I've been seeing my ex's name in places. I've been seeing things in relation to him, and I've had to rebuke it every time I saw it. Even when my mind started to think melancholy, thinking thoughts back about my ex. Breaking it. I'm telling you right now, I used to have dreams. I remember, and this will happen, I did not see a wedding. I did not, under any circumstances, see myself marry this man in the spirit. But I saw myself being taken to a table. He was standing next to me in full groom's wear. This is my ex. This is the man that, if you understood what he did to me, even if you go back and you look at the LGBT video I was talking about, the first part where I talk about the things that he did to me during our relationship, I'm not marrying nobody like that. So why is he in my dream wearing a full white suit? I'm wearing a wedding dress, and I saw no wedding. There was no wedding. There was no nothing with him. But we're standing at a table, and they're trying to get us to sign the marriage papers. In that dream, I literally said, no, I'm not signing these papers. I refused to marry this man. Then I had another dream where I was walking up a set of stairs and he was following me. He was yelling at me downstairs, and then he followed me upstairs and trying to convince me that he was my husband. And I was saying, no, you are not my husband. You're not my God-ordained spouse. I don't want anything. In the dream, I'm doing this. It's like, you are not, no. It went as far as he went and got a counselor. That there was this woman on his phone. He pulled the phone out and the counselor saying, as if I'm operating from a state of I don't know who I am, nor have no memory or recollection to the fact of what he has done to me in my life. And it's like I have amnesia and I'm sitting up there and she's sitting there, ma'am, I'm trying to tell you that this is your husband. And I'm like, excuse me? This is not my husband. That's how serious it is. Let me tell you right now, if you're having dreams, no, your ex is not your husband. Your ex is not your husband. Your ex is not your husband. No. If he calls you, texts you, come into alignment to try to have an agreement with you. He comes talking about some fugazi foolishness. Praise Jesus, because your husband is actually coming and he's coming to block. And this is what I'm going to tell you to do. I'm going to tell you right now. There's a scripture that I think I read to you guys once before, but I don't think I got it in here. And I may not have enough time to find it. And hold on.